his situation is different than any other players in the league because he's been already placed on the franchise tag. So what does that mean? It means that if he were to be traded, Clowney must first sign his franchise tender. First, he's got to agree to what he hasn't agreed with the Texans, saying, okay, I'll play for a year at $15.9 million, 1 year. But the team that trades for him can't sign or extend him to an extension until after the season is done because of the franchise rule. Why not just play in Houston this year? Why not play in Houston this year? Well, he was thinking about possibly coming back, but according to Ian's report, he learns that they were thinking about trading him, so now he says, I'm not coming to camp. It is such a commitment for a team to trade for Jadeveon Clowney because of the money, but also you have no long-term investment with the guy. You're basically renting him for a year on the assumption that he's going to come fully motivated and wants to be there. And the last piece, he's firing his agent 2 weeks before or a week before the start of the regular season, really. And Bus Cook is an agent who's represented Calvin Johnson and Brett Favre and some of the biggest names in football. So you start to wonder, what exactly am I getting? This guy seems like he's meeting with teams. It's a very murky situation, and yet a really good football player. But there are a lot of different irregularities with this one as opposed to a Trent Williams or a Melvin Gordon who are just on contract. This guy's on a franchise tender. You got to do a bunch of stuff to just even get him in the building. And even then, you can't assure yourself more than 6 months with him.
If I'm a Texans fan, I'm frustrated. I'm saying, how did we get here? Because here's the facts. Deshaun Watson hasn't been paid yet. We're kind of feeling like we're in the window. DeAndre's been extended. We have a ton of cap space. In fact, the second most in the whole league. We don't have a GM. So what are we doing here in a year we think we have big aspirations that one of our best players may be leaving, maybe staying? I don't know. Like, what is the answer to those fans? How did this happen?
Yeah, well, you fire your GM in June, and one of the reasons that they thought that might have happened was because this deal wasn't done. So once Clowney gets the franchise tag, it means that they can no longer extend him to a long-term deal. He didn't want to get the franchise tag, and here we are at this impasse, and there's no general manager anymore because they fired him in June. It's a very, very unique situation.
They seem to be pushing to get out of there, though. That's what
it seems like it now.
All the reports we're hearing, right?
According to 10 teams apparently are involved, but I haven't seen one land him yet.
To your point, setting this up, if he does sign that and go somewhere else on a trade, he's in the same situation because he wants a long-term deal because something can happen in a split time. He can go out there, snap his leg, tear ACL, and now a team is sitting back saying, listen, we signed you on the franchise, but there's no way we're going to give you a long-term deal because you're banged up. Or maybe he doesn't have an amazing season. Now he's sitting back thinking to himself, this is exactly why I wanted that big-time contract. So I feel like for as much as it's worth, we keep talking about leverage in the situation. It doesn't seem like that Jadeveon Clowney has much leverage in this situation as maybe other guys who have been in a lockout situation before.
Just picture the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah?
Frank Clark, perfect landing spot, would fit a nice little landscape there. I'm just putting it out there. I think I would like to see that.
Okay, all right. It's not bad. It's not a bad idea.
In Houston.